Join KFAN's Parker Fox this Thursday night at Freight House in Stillwater. Drop by for live music, drinks, great drink specials, and your shot at tons of prizes. Party starts at 5 p.m. Get the full details at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
The legendary one has entered the studio, Studio A, here at 1600 Utica Avenue South, a.k.a. Common Man World Headquarters. I'm Common, he's Tennessee. The legendary Mark Rosen is here. What do you know? What do you say?
Just hanging on this.
What do you got there?
Day. What?
Is that a chilled coffee?
Ice. Yeah, I'm really into these vanilla ice lattes.
Vanilla ice latte?
Yeah, especially
so what's in it? Just
like
vanilla and then coffee, or what it's actually?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Coffee, some iced coffee.
Now, have you ever ordered one and then gone back and had them add extra ingredients?
No, okay. They ask all the time if you want a little extra shot, and okay. I'm not in the morning in particular, I can't handle a lot of caffeine on an empty stomach, so I get the jitters. So I'm one of those rare people that, like in the morning, if I'm going to have coffee, I have to have decaf. If at night, when most people go, man, I can't, like Karen can't have coffee after, and she drinks espresso. She can't have anything with caffeine after noon. Yeah, and a lot of people are that way.
My mother was the same way. Really? Afternoon could not do it.
But I'm the opposite. Like if I have nice meal, I have swordfish or something. I will have a cup of regular coffee, and I love it. I get a cup of regular coffee.
Will you have a cup of coffee after halibut?
Sure. After any meal.
Oh, okay.
Any meal. I can't have I don't eat swordfish that much. But yeah. That's a running joke. But anyway, I do like to have caffeine at night, and it doesn't keep me awake.
But that's odd that you...
my body's built that way.
But in the morning, you can't have it.
No, I can't have regular, unless I have... No, if I have a...
It's the first thing I do. It's a beeline to the Keurig. First thing I do is make a coffee.
I know I'm working the opposite part of the room on that one.
But I do have them in the evening as well. I'm like you. I can have one and go to bed without any problem.
A lot of people can, but a lot of people can't. So I enjoy it when I can. So I had.
Well, you're having a nice. You know what? I've had an iced coffee or two. Well, I don't mind them, but for some reason
I drink them in the winter.
Yeah, I'm just not an iced coffee guy like mine. I'm common.
You're a common man.
Black, strong, nothing with it.
Yeah. Well, it's a good toasty day to have a nice drink today, that's for sure.
Well, there was even a story, and it's one of those psychology stories that I get a kick out of, because what they do is they try to read into behaviors to say what you're like. Here's what this one says. This is it's bold.com. It's one of my favorite psychology. I'm a big psychologist, because you know me, I'm a deep thinker.
You really are.
Psychology says the person who always drinks their coffee black isn't just a purist. They're often navigating a need for unfiltered reality that shows up in every other part of their life. That's not the reason I drink. I just like the taste of it black. I don't like it watered down.
Right.
But I am a purist like in certain things. I do consider myself a purist. Like, I can eat a nacho cheese Dorito, but I would rather have just the basic, plain corn Doritos. Fritos. There's the chili cheese ones. They're okay. I just want regular Fritos. Potato chips, they've got every flavor. You know what they had here in Pringles in the can in the break room? They had some type of hibachi steak flavored, and some kind of bread-coated onion ring. Flavored ones. I just like, and I can eat all those, but I'm just a plain potato chip guy.
I can relate to most of that. I don't mind some flavoring and a lot of my foods, but I made the mistake when I went grocery shopping the other day. I just wanted to buy, I don't know if you're a cereal guy, but I just wanted to buy some Rice Krispies. That's all. I like Rice Krispies.
You like Rice Krispies?
I alternate. I don't,
do you like the Snap, Crackle, or the Pop? Which one do you like?
I'm more of the Pop.
Okay.
But I like adding fruit, whether you're a big fruit guy right now, and I add blueberries in particular. I love blueberries, and I have banana, whatever. But I got there, and the guy at the cash register said, these are like frosted Rice Krispies. I said, what do you mean? These are, I had no idea. She goes, there's a lot of extra sugar in them. I thought, well, I don't really want that, but I'll take them home, give it a shot. I'll see what I like. So I had one bowl, and I threw it away. I should have brought it back to the store. I could tell there was so much sugar in there, and it like made me ill. I think my body revolted from it. I
don't eat breakfast.
I know you told me that, and I didn't today, but
the first time I eat every day is 1:00.
Yeah. Some people can do that.
I eat dinner at 7:30, and then I don't eat until.
Well, considering you go out and play golf, pretty much every day, I'm surprised you don't need a little energy boost.
Intermittent fasting. Well, the coffee gives me my energy boost. I'll have 2 or 3 cups of coffee before I go.
Everyone's built different. And you're built different.
I am built different.
I've heard that.
There's no question about it. How about your Twins club?
Honestly, I've checked out.
Really?
Yeah. I have. I mean, there was a period of time for like a 2-week period where I mentioned you when I came in here one day. I went, this game was going on, and the NBA playoff game was going on, NHL. And I said the most entertaining game of the day that I saw was the Twins coming back to win this particular game. And I thought, okay, they're getting some good pitching, and they're starting to hit the ball a little bit, and they're pretty interesting. And now it's just, man, I mean, we're going to get to the 4th of July and it's over, Johnny. I mean, they just don't have the bodies. They physically, the pitching staff is a wreck. They're either injured, overused. The bullpen is pretty much useless. I mean, it's not their fault, not the kids that are pitching. They have an opportunity to pitch in the majors, and it's not their fault. It's management's, ownership's, designed to say, look, this is who we're going with, and I don't know how Shelton does it. I mean, without tearing his hair out. Of course, he managed the Pittsburgh Pirates. That was pretty good training to get ready to manage the Twins this year. But it's just a hard watch now. That's what I'm just saying. I mean, I went to a game a week ago with my daughter, and they happened to win that game that night, and against the White Sox, and it was an entertaining night. We had a good time. It was fun, and we had fun. But it's hard to think about. I think they played the Cardinals here this weekend. That's another interleague. I know that, and then the Dodgers are coming here in the middle of June, and June 22nd, I think. But
you'll go to that?
No, I won't. I'll have knee surgery that day. This just in. No, I will not be going to any of those games. But it's just. I'd like to sit down and watch a good baseball game with the Twins, and it's just you don't see many of them right now, and that's the part that's really just and it's not a surprise. I mean, we kind of knew this was their fate this year, and what they said.
That's not what Tom Pohlad thought.
Well, and he's smoking something that you can find in San Francisco when you go out there next week.
He thought. He thought he rolled his eyes.
Well,
shrugged his shoulders and shook his head when he said, "What over under?" Because it was at 73 or 4, and he just said, "Well, we will contend this year."
I didn't realize he was what his baseball background was.
Yeah, he
thought he was a Pohlad.
I think he thought he. Timmy and I just talked about it again here because they, Nightingale wrote. He's the beat writer, Fisher on Factory West. He wrote, they hit maybe their lowest point of the season, and I think what happens when it's your team and you want, you're looking at glass half full, right? Especially when he came into a situation where he fired his brother. The family just said, "Joe, you're out. Tom's in." And I still refer to that article where Tom said it caused a rift between Joe and myself. And Tom came in and he was supposed to try to clean things up and fix it up. And he had some ideas. He admitted he doesn't know a lot about baseball, but he was very
never stopped.
He was annoyed by the idea that they wouldn't contend, and I get that, but it's like, well, it's because, and that goes to show you that he hasn't followed baseball probably as closely as he should have, because when you go to the fire sale like you did, they have a few nice pieces on the club. There's a handful of nice pieces, but just not enough to sustain anything.
No.
You can have a nice little winning streak here and there, but it's not good.
Well, especially when so much of baseball is predicated on your bullpen these days. Managers, ownership, they don't want to, tire out their starters because of the money they have invested in them, and they don't want them, pitching more than. It's rare when a guy throws 100 pitches in a game, unless you're the old Justin Verlanders of the world. But they're few and far between. So most managers are going, 60, 70, 80 pitches, maybe that's about it. Well, the Twins don't have any of those guys in the bullpen that are capable of. Taylor Rogers they brought back, who had some good years, but it's past his prime now. He doesn't have, that same, shutdown stuff. They don't have a closer. They don't have a guy they can count on for 2 innings. So it forces Shelton many times to probably try to milk as much as he possibly can out of his starter. If he's giving him some, Joe Ryan probably pitches a few more, innings than he probably wants him to, because they don't really have an option in the bullpen.
You're getting ripped.
For what?
Says, I call Mark's bluffs. There's zero chance the store ran out of regular Rice Krispies.
No, I didn't say they ran out.
He wanted the ones with the extra sugar.
No. I did not know I got those until I was checking out. No, I knew they had regular Rice Krispies, and the guy said to me, "You want me to go back and get some?" And I went, "I don't know. I've never tried these before." Of course, I know they had regular Rice Krispies. I just made a bad call.
People don't listen, do they?
I do the best I can. Try to be.
We'll take
clear
a break.
About what I'm doing.
Yeah, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We got more to get to. Tandy, you got a keyword too, right? For some.
I do, yeah. The
cash
fan.
contest?
Yeah, the fan has your chance to win $2,500. Just enter the keyword Liberty at KFAN.com now. That keyword is Liberty. Enter now at KFAN.com.
Coming in.
Couple 13-14 fast time comedies. Tennessee. Mark Rosen here. Last night, Canes win. Series tied at 2 games apiece. All I know is all season I heard the best 3 teams in hockey are the Wild, the Stars, and the Avalanche. And here we are with 2 teams that the Knights and, Tennessee had said earlier that, the Knights were considered a good club, and so are the Canes. But I don't know. This is after the first couple of games. I read a headline that said best Stanley Cup Finals ever, and Tennessee says it could be close because of the action and how it's 2-goal leads, and all of a sudden 2-goal leads disappear. Mm-hmm. You have one team was up 4-0, all of a sudden it's 4-4, goes to overtime. You score 3 goals in about a 39-second period. Been a lot of drama, a lot of high dramas. It's been really good.
Well, I mean, this is where you're supposed to go. Well, you're supposed to blame the format, why the top 3 teams didn't get to the final, because, they're beating each other up, and all of them suffered at some point or another some significant injuries. And until the NHL decides to change the format, this is what you're going to have every year. With we got teams like Vegas, and that this just in, they already won a cup, and they have nothing to apologize for. Carolina's a very good team in the East, but I mean I didn't think at the beginning of this series it didn't capture the imagination of maybe the hardcore fans, but think, well, it's going to have to develop, and that's why the beauty of a championship series doesn't matter what teams are. All of a sudden, you're watching it, and it's like, yeah, this is really good entertainment. I caught the end of last night's game, and it was highly entertaining. Was it Stahl who scored that game-winning goal?
Yes, Jordan Stahl
on his
Eric's brother.
Yeah. And was it the stat that he was 19, I think, when he played his first.
When he won the cup with Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah. Here he is, he's 37.
Because it's the cup.
Because it's the cup. But
so he won when he was 19?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's not won since?
No.
So if he were to win here, my guess there's a stat somewhere. Would that be the longest?
Biggest gap between?
I would think would be the biggest gap.
I can't imagine.
Beat that.
Almost 20 years.
Yeah.
More than 20 years, right? No, 19, he's 37. 18. He said 18 years. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm not suggesting coaches changed. I mean, that'll be a question, I'm sure, even, for Guerin and for Hines, all those guys. Like, well, are you going to maybe, for lack of a better term, rest some more of the Quinn Hugheses of the world or Kaprizovs a little bit more? Because it really doesn't matter if you finish first. You don't care about winning the President's Cup. Nobody remembers who wins that.
I do.
Do you?
No.
Oh, I didn't think so. You can kind of, just put yourself in position to get in. And then, we've seen home ice hasn't always been a whole lot. Obviously hasn't been a lot in the NBA right now. And so I don't know. I don't think it's going to change. I don't think teams are going to, their hockey players just aren't built that way to take their skates off the pedal, as they say.
Who says that? Skates off the pedal? I never heard that one.
I just said that.
I know,
foot off the
but
pedal.
You said as they say.
Well,
so it sounds
I was trying to say foot off the pedal. That I'm saying to de-emphasize the regular season. I don't think hockey players are built to just sort of kind of glide through the season or whatever it might be. They may not be playing like any other sport. You're playing 82 games, the same intensity. They can't every single night. But this proves that you can have a very, very entertaining series with teams that are weren't supposed to be there. And it develops into something that becomes, every other night right now between the NBA and NHL finals. We're seeing some really good, highly entertaining, skillful athletes playing in the championship in the middle of June. I mean, for winter sports, and then, go right into this to World Cup if you're so interested in that. But I mean, it's providing kind of entertainment in June that we're, before the NFL season really gets going that, maybe we didn't expect to see. So, yeah.
Yesterday, you were pretty sure that the Knickerbockers you still think are going to win the series.
Well, I do. I think, I guess the bold prediction would be I think the winner of tonight's game will win the series. Will win the NBA
yesterday,
title.
I think you said 10 to beat.
I did say that. Bet.
A bet?
No,
I'll take the Spurs. Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute. What happened to your passionate love for Bodega Cat?
Passionate love and rooting interest when it comes to betting are completely two different things. I don't bet with my heart.
One's with your heart, yeah. One's with your head, one's with your heart.
I think the Spurs are going to win this series. I'll bet you $4.
You already owe me $2 for some other. Ask Power Trip Bets.
I thought you owed me $2.
I don't think so, but that's all right. I mean, that's fine.
I think I actually owe Common money.
Oh, well, nobody ever keeps track of this stuff.
It's like a shell game here.
Well, let's throw it in the pot and figure it out. I think, I was sitting there watching a game with my son the other night. He's in town, and I said I want the Knicks to win. I really, really do. But I wanted to see.
Is it because of Bodega Cat or because you love the city of New York so much?
Both. But I wanted.
But don't you hate the Yankees? I thought you didn't like the Yankees.
I'm not a big Yankee fan necessarily.
But you love New York. And you love the Knicks. Why are you a Knicks fan?
Well, I just remember those teams with Walt Frazier and it's been since
Dave DeBusschere.
Well, 1973 is a long time to wait. The Yankees won plenty of championships. The Knicks haven't, and I'm just saying that. I think for Cat to finally realize, to realize his dream and his association here with Minnesota. I think most Minnesota sports fans, Timberwolves fans, will truly be happy. We all bemoan the one that got away all the time, and we've had plenty of them. You recited them yesterday, I think, with the David Ortiz.
See, I think there are a lot of basketball fans in town that they don't have that affinity for Towns. They think that Towns didn't he played probably not as well as a lot of people thought he should have.
A lot of people wanted him gone.
That's what I'm saying.
3 years ago. You're right.
I don't know how many people out there, because he played here, are going, even though he annoyed me as a player when he was with the Wolves, I don't think we got the most out of him that we should have. Sometimes he lacked quite a bit defensively, whined a lot about. I'd like to see him win. I don't know if there's that love affair with him. No, not there could be.
I think. I don't know. I just think that because of his association with the city and how much he loved playing here, and I think even he had a quote in the paper saying, I got 9 hours basically to get out of Dodge, living in this, his big house, and all of a sudden, that's the poor guy. I mean, he had all of a sudden he's
Big Ticket said this is for soda when he won.
Right.
Do you think that Big Meow thinks the same thing? This is for soda.
I think he has a lot of that in him, even maybe more so than KG did at a point. Both of them were drafted here and grew up here, and I think Towns got himself a lot more immersed in the community than KG ever did in terms of really making a presence felt with his coat drives and a lot of other things that he did individually and collectively and really putting himself out there. I mean, I heard nothing but great things about Karl Anthony Towns' time here off the court as much as anything. So, no, I found myself absolutely rooting for the Spurs the other night because I wanted to see a good series. And the Knicks won the other night, 3-0, and man, they're not, it's over. I mean, maybe the San Antonio can come back and win a game, but they're certainly not going to win the series. Now they got more than a fighting chance. They win tonight, they're going back home. Not that home court.
So in other words,
I wanted San Antonio to win. I don't know how I feel tonight.
Well, here's what I'm saying. It sounds to me like you say, well, you really want to see Big Meow win a title, but it sounds like you would rather, for your own selfish reasons, enjoy the series even if Big Meow loses.
Well, the other night I did. Now, tonight I'll probably find myself...
Well, then it's 3-1, then it's still over.
Well, no, it's not necessarily. Well, they go back to San Antonio, and they can make it 3-2, and then...
It's over, Johnny.
Well, probably. But, I mean, it certainly would have been... one's ever come back
He's rooting for San Antonio again tonight. Really sad.
I don't think I will.
I'm rooting for Big Meow.
Wait a minute, you just said San Antonio's going to win the series.
I know, but I'm still rooting for Big Meow.
Oh, okay. I'm so confused.
The bet's just for fun. I don't really.
Oh, I know, but you just said
He thinks the Spurs will win. He's cheering for the big Bodega Cat.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine.
I think the Spurs will win, but I think the Spurs will win, but I'm rooting for Bodega Cat. That doesn't rhyme, but that's the chant anyways. We'll break, come back, one more segment to go here on the Common Man program on The Fan. Fast. I'm Common. He is 10 to be Mark Rosen here as well. This text message says, Mark, you don't have to understand Common's take on the finals, but you have to respect it.
100% correct.
Here's another one. This one says, hey, Dan, Big Cat took our friend's adopted kids and some other adopted children with medical issues and rented out a movie theater to watch a show with them. Just a handful of kids were with him and the parents. They had a really special day beyond the movie theater and did many other things with the kids and their families. I know firsthand, at least part of his investment into the community, in the people here, far beyond playing basketball. That's Bodega Cat.
Yeah, he did a lot of that and did it from the heart. And we all know about his personal problems, tragedies, not problems, tragedies with his family, his mom, et cetera, and lost a lot of family members to COVID. And he's just he was a pleasure to be around. I mean, he really was. I mean, Johnny Athletic, I think, wrote that column about how after he got traded, he promised he was going to go to his daughter's soccer game or something, and he followed up with it. I mean, it's a small little thing. He wasn't doing like, the camera's going to be there. I've known a lot of athletes that way. No, he was not that way at all. And, he's an easy guy to root for. I'll just leave it at that. Absolutely. Easy guy to be around. So, wish him well.
The mandatory OTAs, is that more than a day? How many days is mandatory OTAs?
I think it's this week.
This week, entire week?
Yeah.
Storylines obviously revolve a lot around the quarterback, including what we talked about yesterday when JJ, first of all, said, boy, that Kyler guy kind of hits the wide receivers coming out of the break. And that was almost, to me, that was, reading between the lines. He wasn't saying, McCarthy doesn't, but it was almost like, boy, it's really nice to see that. So it was almost like he was saying it's a little bit of a different situation when you got a guy like Kyler. But the other thing we talked about yesterday was the splitting the reps and, Murray saying, well, it's a little more difficult when I only have half the time, half the reps. Because when he was in Zona, he was the starting quarterback. He got them all. Plus, apparently, this is the most complicated offense in the history of pro football because every quarterback that comes here says, it's just so difficult. And my question, I had it for, it's more of a rhetorical question than anything I had it for 10. He's like, why does the offense have to be so complicated? What is it about?
Dumb it down.
Yeah, well, that's what I would think, but it sounds like, they had a quote from Cousins in here and says, back dagger. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It changed everything I thought about pro football and passing attacks.
I don't know. I think the terminology changes from team to team, and I really think that still, I think, and you're the one who's always been championing that. I think we're trying to make it a lot more complicated than it needs to be. And even after yesterday's practice session, the reporters who were out there were saying, it was J.J. McCarthy's best day. They recited his stats on, throwing the ball 7 for 7, and Murray threw, 2 or 3 picks, as if reading into June passing without anybody putting a hand in your face it really matters. It doesn't. It's all about, trying to get down the timing and, just really got to get people in football mindset before they come back for real training camp, at the end of July. I try not to read too much into any of this stuff, and I still think Murray will be the starting quarterback. I'm happy to hear what JJ's saying. I mean, he shot down, like the idea that he'd want to be traded, although he never brought it up to begin with. It's an interesting, I'm not saying a dilemma, but, just assuming, and we're all probably right about it, that Murray will start against the Packers on the 13th. And if he has a rough game or two, and you had a J.J. McCarthy who is now chomping at the bit saying, I'm healthy, I'm ready, I've grown up, I put muscle on, I've gotten rid of number nine, and I'm ready to grow up in this league. And then now in this third, my career, I'm ready to roll. Are we looking at it in the reverse going, boy, maybe we should give the kid a chance right now, see what he's got, because he's, at the end of his rookie contract. Murray's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. I mean, there's a lot of things that are on the table that the new GM, is walking right into. And by all accounts, he's ready for this undertaking. I'm still anxious to hear, and I still think the Vikings will sign a defense. There's like half a dozen, the veteran defensive players out there that are without a contract right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings invest in one of them. I think before training camp begins. I don't know if it's going to happen next week, but I think there's a good chance that will happen. And there are some names out there. How much they have left in the tank, who knows? They're big names, but that's all they are right now.
Have you been following this? Is it Brendan Sorsby, the quarterback, for Texas Tech? Apparently, he bet on all sorts of games, including games he participated in. And then a judge who just happens to be, I think wherever he's doing his judging happens to be where Texas Tech is. And he's basically said, it's 2-game suspension, that's it. Because a court ruling said he would be eligible for the 2026 season, when at first it said he wasn't. A Lubbock judge sent college athletics, I'm reading from a CBS story, a Lubbock judge sent college athletics into a spiral when he granted Sorsby an injunction against the NCAA that will allow him to play in the 2026 season, despite admitting to gambling, including bets placed on his own team while at Indiana. As part of the decision, Sorsby will sit out the first 2 games of the season against Abilene Christian and Oregon State. However, he will return conveniently for the Big 12 opener September 18 against Houston. The court decided that Sorsby would suffer probable, imminent, and irreparable injury if he were not allowed to participate in college athletics while his case proceeds through the legal system. Specifically, the judge ruled that Sorsby would lose access to high-level training and the ability to maximize his athletic potential, thereby complicating his decision to enter the 2026 NFL supplemental draft. Sorsby was ruled permanently ineligible by the NCAA after admitting to placing thousands of bets over 4 years, including multiple on his own team while redshirting at Indiana.
Right.
NCAA rules hold that any player who gambles on their own team or another in their athletic department will not be allowed to participate in college athletics, and the judge says no. Now, there was Georgia and Nebraska. Those 2 schools said, their athletic director said, we will not schedule any games in any sport, not just football, any sport with Texas Tech. Texas Tech today defended the ruling. It says,
of course they did.
Yeah, Kirby, Texas Tech athletic director Kirby Hokut said, to my colleagues, I understand the frustration. The situation's hard. It's new and there's no perfect answer. The system we're operating within is binary, but the situation is not. We are open to ongoing conversations about how to best handle these issues as an industry going forward. We will continue to be transparent in our decision-making. Most importantly, we'll keep doing what we have always done, put our students first.
Okay.
Think about it. Pete Rose was banned for life in pro sports. I mean, it's the one rule that I think most people think is, how am I trying to say? It's the most important thing that
integrity of the game.
The integrity of the game. Now, you can bet on a game. Pete Rose used to always say, well, I bet on my own team to win. I wasn't betting on my team to lose and then do it, which is the 1919 Black Sox, where they were throwing games. They were trying to lose baseball games. But, you know, the comeback to the Rose thing for me would always be, yeah, but let's say you bet on your team to win the Saturday game and the game's out of hand and you're going to lose. Well, then you might decide not to use a relief pitcher or pull a guy out of a game to give him a rest because you're going to bet on the next game, and so that you would.
100%.
And so the integrity of the game, and that's why I'm curious, is, I mean, the judge explained it the way he said, but, you know, I think every player knows the consequences for betting on games, right? I don't think Sorsby can play dumb and go, I didn't know I couldn't bet on games on my team.
Yeah, this is not a direct result. I mean, as we've talked about, and you've talked about many times, and the genie's out of the bottle when they start, you know, when nil started coming into existence, and, you know, some players are making a lot of money, more money than they'd probably be making if they were in the pros right now. This is a whole different thing. This is about integrity. And I know he was at Cincinnati and then he was at Indiana, back in 2022. And this is, you know, this is awful. I don't know how you can get around it. And I know he's a tenant, right? He's projected to be a pretty high draft pick, right? I mean,
he is.
Sorsby.
I did read, though, somebody was doing one of those analysis pieces, in that in his biggest moments where he's played, he hasn't really risen to the occasion. Now, that doesn't mean he can't be a good quarterback, and those results can change because it's a team game. But I read that in some of his biggest moments, he's not risen to the occasion.
Well, and it's not shocking that, you know, administrators from his own school are gonna go, well, we can kind of work around this. We'll suspend him for a couple, you know, non-conference games, and it'll all pass and it'll be different. It's just, this is one of those line in the sands where you just cannot cross it. And I think when you start talking about betting and everything else that happens with college athletes, even before NIL existed, where, you know, all the legendary stories about how Reggie Bush was paid millions and millions, and he wasn't alone. A lot of college players in basketball, football were being paid under the table. This is different. And I don't know how, and I understand how other ADs and other coaches are going, man, this is they're disgusted with the whole thing. I mean, they're united. They are united. All the other leagues' athletic directors are saying he should not be eligible for next season. It's just, you can't, there's no justification for it. I don't know how you can justify it. It's the one rule. I mean, you can do drugs, you can get caught for speeding, you get DUI. I mean, what? Look at our quarterback, Drake Lindsay, had to apologize, and then, you know, it's like, okay, he was caught with underage ID right. in a bar. Welcome to the world. I mean, and he still had to make the statement, and, you know, and I understand all that, and blah blah blah. But I mean, I think most people just shrug their shoulders and shake their head and go, yeah, I mean, I've been there, done that. But this is a whole different level, and that's something that I don't know. Again, football, it's Friday Night Lights, basically Texas style.
Speaking of football,
yeah,
they are. It's not official yet. Can you explain this to me? Flag football in Minnesota high school for girls. Is it still on an experimentation thing?
Well, I will say this. Yes, they had it, as you know, I mean, I think we had it, covered it on these airwaves. They had the championship, the girls flag football.
Right, okay.
The State High School League hasn't sanctioned it yet. They haven't made it an official sport, which to me is ridiculous.
What is their reasoning behind that? Have they stated one publicly as to why? Are they gathering more information, or?
I'm probably not the right person to answer that, because I've dealt with the State High School League for a long, long time.
They threw you guys. They wouldn't allow you guys in with your camera. You were trying to get access without a press pass.
There's a million reasons why the high school league.
They're trying to get. They're trying to. There are rules, there are regulations. You have to apply for a press credential.
There are gray areas for everything. And
if I show up at the 3M Open and I don't have a press credential, the guy just supposed to let me in? Why is that different? That's a lot different than showing up at a sectional hockey game with a 40-pound camera on your shoulder and thinking you're trying to sneak in when you have an identification from WCCO. That's a whole different thing. But I'm not a big fan. I've made that very clear over the years. Oh, you have, that's for sure.
And I think this is just another, and I don't know all the reasons why they're not sanctioning it right now, but it's a big deal. The NFL is getting involved with it. I mean, with flag football, we know we've heard it. NFL players.
It's going to be an Olympic sport, isn't it?
Yeah, But for girls to have an opportunity to participate, and they had a nice turnout. Karen was out there talking about it the other day, and they had a really nice turnout from a player's perspective. And I think Rosemount won the championship. I think Zach Halverson and they did some play-by-play on these very airwaves.
Really, I wasn't aware.
Yeah,
of that.
But I mean, it's a hard-charging new sport that's getting a lot of steam right now, and I hopefully it'll get the kind of support that high school needs to do.
Do you think that the offensive coordinators of these teams, their scheme will be as complicated as Kevin O'Connell's?
Never. You know how thick that playbook is? I'll
tell you what, my middle child, Samson, plays flag football this year. This is his first year.
And?
His coach, unbelievable.
In what way?
Just they're the most organized. I mean, they're one of the youngest teams, yet they do well because basically the coaching is so good. It's like they're organized. They have all these plays that play off of each other, right? So a fake here will lead to this here, or double fake here, and it just throws off defenses.
There have been.
I would hire him right now.
Well, I was going to say
Vikings offensive coordinator.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There have been discussions that maybe that your head coach should kind of oversee everything. Like Danny Campbell did that. Then Danny Campbell, Ben Johnson left. And then they hired, and I don't even recall his name now. He was the offensive coordinator for a while. Then Danny Campbell said, give me the playbook. I'm going to do it. It didn't work out any better. Maybe O'Connell should consider Teneby's Samson's.
He was actually the one who came in and watched the program password that he bet on. That was him, yeah. He's an offensive genius.
I think O'Connell was watching it the other day. I mean, maybe he picked up a few pointers. You never know.
Maybe they're looking for undrafted free agents.
Well, they definitely are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a growing sport, and like I said, the NFL is going to get involved with it, and more the merrier. It's certainly a fun sport. The injury risk is pretty low, and right now the girls they're having a blast with it, and there are more and more schools that are participating.
This is controversial. As a former spring sport coach, adding flag football will hurt track and field, lacrosse, and other sports. Well, there are only so many athletes to go around. That being said, when they added boys volleyball, it definitely hurt track and field the most.
Well, they can say that about a lot of sports, but I don't know how you determine that adding that is. I mean, they're going to find their own level. I mean,
where does it end?
We keep hearing stories that participation in football is down because of the injury concerns. More kids are playing soccer, or more kids are playing lacrosse, which I think has become a pretty popular sport for a lot of the boys.
Well, where does it end, Mark? What is dodgeball? They're gonna have dodgeball. How about trench?
How about what was the sport you?
Well, that would have been track and field. Sack race.
No.
Sack race. That would have been track and field. That would just have added to track and field. What about capture the flag? Do you think they should have sanctioned capture the flag? And that would take away from spring sports.
That'd be an awful thing.
Unless they did it in the fall.
Capture the flag.
Did you ever play capture the flag?
Of course I did.
How about Red Rover? Red Rover.
Send so-so over. Yeah. They try to break the line, and you break your arm trying to hold all of a sudden you see there's always one kid in the block who looked like an adult at the age of 10. And you'd say, send so-and-so, Johnny, right over. And he'd be like a charging bull coming at you. You just, drop your hands and let him go through. I don't want you to break my arm. Those were the days. Acorn fights. Those were the days.
Question, Tenemy, for you about Samson. It says, did it take a while for Samson to learn the offense because he was splitting reps? Did it? Did it take him a while to catch on?
See ball, run with ball.
Okay. That's all you do.
It's not a tough game. It's not that complicated.
But the kids love it, don't they? Does he like it? I'm sure
he does like it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Another controversial topic we're attacking on this show. But I'd like to see it succeed. I think it will. I mean,
you ever notice, too, that in high school sports, at least here, maybe this is all over the country, the only sports that people really, I think, pay attention to, like, in the media and everything like that, your high school football,
right,
high school hockey, and then your boys and girls basketball. The spring sports don't get a lot of attention.
No.
I mean, I'm not saying they don't get some attention. They do.
Track and field doesn't get much.
But track and field doesn't get much, and the golf doesn't.
The seasons are so short.
And that's another thing, I think, too.
Spring season and with baseball and lacrosse.
Yeah.
It's like a 6-week season here.
Yeah, track and field, when they have the state championships, and we've had some obviously phenomenal athletes here, but it doesn't get the push. But
what I always liked about Channel 4 is you guys did a lot for Nordic skiing, and that's what I really appreciate.
We always sent a photographer somewhere. The high school league would let us in for that.
Yeah, they would. Isn't that funny? They let
to Pewabic, they'd let us cover it.
Yeah. Why is my phone talking to me? Stop.
Maybe they should cancel Nordic skiing because that's taking away from kids being able to play hockey.
Yes, that's exactly right.
I mean,
ever think of that?
Yeah.
Cross-country skiing.
Never ends.
Always good to see you. Huh? You'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock, I
will be.
Very good, Tenney. Thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
We enjoyed our visit with you today. We always do. We're back tomorrow at 12 noon. Stick around. Big Ticket. JG there next year on The Fan. Enjoy your day.